Hey, let's now talk to the former US Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defence, Jim Townsend. Jim, a very good morning to you. Nicola and I watch this unfold on a daily basis. What's going to happen next? I know that's a weird question, but where are you on this, Jim?
Well, from a Washington perspective, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in Congress, because suddenly the extremists in our House of Representatives who were saying no money for anyone in terms of Ukraine or Israel, suddenly they're all of these patriots and they want to put money towards Israel. They're saying, we're going to put this on the floor, we're going to get a vote. And we're all hoping that not only will Israel get some assistance, but Ukraine too. So it's really impacted our politics in Washington. People who were earlier seen as extremists are now looking on, they're being seen as heroes. So it's just topsy-turvy in Washington now.
So, Jim, last week we had our Foreign Secretary saying that the UK's support for Israel is not unconditional. What can you see...
24 hours later, he changed his mind, didn't he?
Well, no, it's not a change of mind. I do believe that the stance is that it's not unconditional.
Right.
And what kind of conditions would need to change, do you believe, for the UK and the US to withdraw that support and providing arms for Israel? What could they do next that would stop that?
Well, you know what's interesting. I want to make sure I got the question right here, but I think it's interesting to me that what your correspondent just said a minute ago. It's going to be hard now, very hard, to put conditions on aid to Israel. For the very reason I was talking about, all of a sudden there are heroes in Washington who are rushing assistance to Israel. I can't see something happening certainly in the near term that would suddenly make these heroes turn around and say, well, we need to put conditions on what we give Israel because they're not acting well in Gaza. I think suddenly with this attack, the taps have been turned on.
I agree.
And it's going to be hard.
Jim, I was going to say, in terms of your country, in terms of Joe Biden, and I'm not being disrespectful, we've followed this for as long as we have followed it. Here's a man who has been ridiculed across the world. This side of the pond, your side of the pond, doesn't even know his name, looks vacant. I mean, you look at what's going to happen in November. You've got Trump facing charges, which, whether we believe they're trumped up or not, he's in court for 8 weeks. Does Joe Biden now suddenly look like a major statesman? He's got the Middle East. He's going to sort this out. But then we've been hearing for months that the Democrats are at each other's throats and don't know what to do. I think this all plays out both domestically for the United States of America and internationally.
Well, I think that's exactly right. I think this has been a boon for Biden. He's going to come out looking like he had the answer all along. Others are running around with their hair on fire. And Biden pursued the course that at the end of the day looks like the right one based on this attack by Iran. And Donald Trump falls asleep at his court trial. So things are looking good for Biden.
And Jim, just really quickly, we don't have a lot of time. If an American consulate was hit abroad, how would America respond?
Well, we have been hit before, just relatively recently in Africa and other places. And we respond not the way Iran does. We respond in terms of trying to find the people who did it. And it's usually not a country, it's a band of thugs. And we try to find them, and either we pull them to justice or we shoot them the way we did Osama bin Laden. But that's what we do if we get attacked. It's proportional. It's not a massive attack. It's something that's really oriented on the people who did it. And finding them and bringing them to justice one way or another.
Jim, final question. The former Assistant Defence Secretary in the United States, you might tell me to do one. Who wins the election then, Donald Trump or Joe Biden, in your mind?
Boy, that's a little early in the morning to even come up with that. You know, it's 50-50 right now. I don't know. There's a lot of time between now and November. This is going to go back and forth over the next couple of months in terms of polls. It is too close to call. I'm not gonna jump into that minefield.
Jim, really good to have you on. Jim Townsend, former US Assistant Secretary of Defence.